Cheerio gamers, it's Cooper here. We're inside the WB booth. We're here with Michael DePlata, the design director for Snowblind Studios, who's working on Lord of the Rings, War in the North. It's quite a long title there. And so let's just start off with this. Is what you're doing in the story canon? It's an original story, but based on, you know, some of the stuff in the novels, right?
Yeah, so what we've been able to do is we've been able to take references which were in the novels, because obviously Tolkien fleshed out this incredibly rich, detailed world and then told one story through that world. And then we've been able to take those references and spin them out and explore them and discover more detail about them. So for example, Gandalf said that if it wasn't for this band of heroes that were in the north of Middle-earth at the same time as Frodo was on his quest, then the war would have been lost. So we're able to take that seed and then build on that. So something that's completely true to the canon and an original story.
And so that kind of is what you're jumping off of. That's the War in the North.
Yeah, exactly. So the War of the Ring was this massive continent-spanning war that encompassed all of Middle-earth. And we've seen the southern front of that war, so now we're able to go and explore the northern front.
And we know that the game is co-op, but you're also able to do it with bots online, drop in, drop out. Is there any other special mix-ups that you can do?
So yeah, as you say, the game's designed really from the ground up as a co-op experience. So this fellowship, working together or dying against these hordes of enemies. But at the same time, you can also play that single player and use bots, or you can mix that up any way you like. So you can play online co-op. We've got split screen co-op on the same sofa. You can have 2 players split screen with another player online. So
that's really nice.
Want to play?
Can you do 3 players split screen? Is that?
No, we've only got 2 players split screen.
Yeah, I would think 3 would be.
Yeah, a little bit confusing and messy, and yeah.
So the game is heavy action, right? I mean, this is an action RPG, not. I mean, we're always going to be real-time fighting?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I only just joined Snowblind recently, but I was a massive fan of their Dark Alliance games and their really classic pure action RPG. So it's about fighting and killing monsters, getting loot, upgrading your character. And War in the North is definitely the successor of that game. So it's very intense combat and action focused. And because we're the first mature rated Lord of the Rings game, we can really push that as well. So we can have decapitations and severed limbs and headshots and really make the combat very visceral and very intense.
So how is the combat designed? Is it a combo system, spells, or is it just kind of hack and slash?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a really nice balance between third-person hack and slash, so an action type game, with the depth of an RPG. So you're using combo systems and chains and pulling off special moves. You've got dodge and defense and so on, but then on top of that you've also got a skill system where you're pulling off different skills and abilities that are unique to each class, and weapon skills. And then on top of that, because now the cameras drop down and put you in the action, the range combat is quite deep as well.
That goes in the first person mode?
It goes into a third-person shooter mode, yeah.
Oh, okay. What about, is there any RPG aspects, like leveling up type stuff?
Yeah, very, very fundamental to the game again. So character progression, hundreds of items of loot, ability to socket gems into loot and upgrade it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, very, very deep on the loot side and also on the character progression and upgrading. And the cool thing with that is, again, that works together with the online. So if I come and play in your game online, I'm bringing my own character, my own experience, my own loot, and then what I earn when I'm playing online with you, I then bring back to my own game as well.
So on that note, we see behind us that there's 3 TVs set up and they're all playing different characters. When you and the fellowship is locked to having, you can't have like 3 dwarf warriors, right?
Yep. That's right. I mean, there's 2 reasons for that. The firstly is the story. We really want to tell a very rich, deep story involving these 3 characters. And the second is the game design. We've designed each of the characters and each of their abilities to support each other as a co-op. So you really need the combined abilities of those 3 classes to work together.
So that begs the question, when you drop into someone's game, you may end up using a character that you don't normally use?
Yeah, that's right. But as you play through, even if you're playing locally or single player, you can change between the different characters at any time. And also you can level up the characters.
So they'll all be the same level kind of anyways, no matter what?
Exactly. So you might normally play the ranger, but even if you go online in someone else's game and you're playing the dwarf, you're still playing with your dwarf.
Yeah. So it's still locked to you no matter what?
That's right, yep.
So are these characters anyone we would know, or are these kind of new written characters?
Well, in one way, they're obviously quite archetypical to have the ranger, the dwarf, and the elf, so it's very familiar and very much classic archetypes from that point of view. But then they're, within our story, they're original characters as well. So Andriel is an elf who's been sent from Elrond to assist this fellowship. Farron is a dwarf, he's a warrior from the Iron Mountains, and Eridan is one of the Dunedain, a ranger who's with Aragorn.
So this is still an early build of the game, so it's a bit off, but do we know about how long you guys are shooting to make the adventure?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, we're still in development and we're still balancing, but I'd say even now, even with what we have now, doing a very fast run through where you're not even worrying about side quests and exploration and that, it's a good 12 hours. But then the final game, there's a lot more depth to explore to that, and also there's a lot of incentive to replay the game as well, because you keep your looting experience and you can replay on successively higher difficulties as well.
We see that the levels are somewhat linear. There's not like branching paths. Is there an overworld map where you can choose different things to do later, not always go directly into the story?
Yeah, so there are like any classic action RPG, you are we want to keep people moving through and fighting monsters and so on, but then there are branching paths within the levels, and then also there is an overland map, so that as you get to different hubs like Bree and Rivendell and so on, it unlocks areas of the map that you can revisit for either side quests or farming loot or for more exploration as well.
War in the North is coming for 360, PS3, and PC. And do we have a time frame date?
We just have 2011. We're really hard at work now. We've just started the process of polishing and balancing, and all the pieces are on the table.
And the end game kind of goal there.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting ready for the big party to celebrate.
I wish, yeah, I hope so.
All right, thanks so much for the boatloads of information.
Pleasure.
Thanks.